Hello and welcome to These Charming Fans. Joining me once again is Les Chapman. Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
You've come back. This is show number 2 now. I might do a Soccer AM thing. If you make a hat trick, we'll give you this ball. So this week we're going to do a special, a takeover special, because a lot of fans, obviously normally we talk about things that are special to us all, like the Aguero goal when we won the league. But I thought it would be nice to get an insight from what it was like inside the club, kind of pre-takeover, and then what happened in the after the takeover. So we'll go straight to it. Really, what was it like when Shinawatra took over the club? What was it like? What was the feeling around the club?
I think at the time, particularly at the training ground where I was, there was this, I suppose, great expectancy that somebody had arrived who had a load of dosh, and perhaps we could get a new washing machine for in the laundry and stuff and things like that. But yeah, the expectancy then, of course, was that they would be able to attract some top players and start moving the club upwards. It did materialise to a certain extent, but I don't think he put anything in, did he?
No, not I can remember. I think a lot of people, as from a fan's point of view, is this man's taken over with no money. And then eventually...
It was frozen everywhere, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
10 different countries.
And I think what's interesting as well is, as City fans, we're constantly having to defend different stuff. Like, even when we were yo-yoing through the leagues, you defended us as much as you can, but this guy is got crimes against humanity. Back where he comes from, you're like, well, not in Manchester he hasn't, so he's fine by me, and... So yeah, he had all his assets for him, but he still managed some crazy stuff. Sven-Göran Eriksson.
Well, that was the buffer, and we had Sven there at the time, which was great.
It was a big coup, wasn't it? Really,
great for the staff and the players. He's such a gentleman, and
that's what I gather from. Obviously, we've had Jeff Whitley on the show, and he's told us some stories, and even chatting to some people at supporters groups to talk about all these great stories about Sven. There's some cracking ones over in Thailand, apparently, when the team's been on tour. Whether or not you can share any of them stories, I don't know.
Well, the actual last game that he was in charge of, I think, was at Middlesbrough. We lost quite heavily.
That 8-1, wasn't it?
I think Dunny got sent off as well, didn't he? And it's the only... Sorry?
Yeah, apparently there's a rumour going around that the players kind of went on strike that game. And
we all knew, and... in fact, in the dressing room after the game, it's the first time I've seen a player stand up in front of the rest of the players and the staff, and Richard Dunn did, and just said that he spoke on behalf of us all and said they were just so sad that he was leaving, and it'd been a pleasure and a privilege to work with him for the couple of years that have been there, but I've never seen a player do that to
it's unheard of.
For a manager before when they've been leaving, but he still went to Bangkok
on the tour,
after that on the tour, because I think he felt obliged, and probably because he wanted to have a good time anyway. And
a final blowout with the team.
And it was, because we did play a game over there, but there was no training. It was just a jolly up, really.
Of course, because it was like the Thai national team, wasn't it? Or like
against the Thai national team, but we didn't do any training and stuff. In fact, I think the first night we were there, Shinawatra had organised for us all to go in this big bar place, and we went in, players, staff and that, and Sven was with us, and it was fairly empty, and within half an hour it was packed, and Shinawatra came in with his entourage, and a few of us having a few drinks, and even Shinawatra, and after about a couple of hours, a few people were drunk, including Shinawatra, I think, because he got on the karaoke. Shinawatra on the karaoke, walked over to Sven singing, "Should I stay or should I go?" And we were all going, "Oh no!"
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was the? I'm still confused as to what happened with why Sven was leaving and why he got sacked. Or
I think the general consensus that it had come back from Shinawatra through different channels, that there was a lack of discipline in the club. Sven wasn't an incredible disciplinarian, but the players and staff respected him because he was so polite, he was bright, he was friendly. He was a generous man. He would speak to anybody, laundrywoman, chairman, shake hands with people. It didn't matter who they were, he'd be polite. And I think he got a lot of respect from the players and staff because of that. And nobody really took the mickey. There was no disciplinary abuse at all. But whether Shinawatra wanted somebody in the same vein as him,
Or like a dictator,
somebody who was
then,
like dictator type of person with military discipline and stuff. I don't know, but that was the rumour that was bandied about at the time as to why.
Yeah, it is such a shame. It was great to have around. Even as a fans, I think we were all sad when he left. But some of the stories were great. The karaoke story is really funny. That tour did sound like crazy.
It was.
You hear some of the stories. I'm not sure. Is there any else you could share that won't get us all in trouble?
Well, after Bangkok, we moved on to Pattaya. We stayed at an incredible hotel in Pattaya, and the first night we were there was we had to meet around by the swimming pool at 7:00, and there was a huge long table, all chefs behind, fantastic food on, all the tables set around the pool. We sat there, fantastic meal, champagne flowing, drinks, everything, and then this music started playing, and in between the tables there was like a raised stage that went round the tables, in between the tables and round the pool, and suddenly this fashion show started. They'd flown these models in from Bangkok, and they'd started doing this fashion show and just parading in front as we were eating away, real stunners and everything. And I think one of them particularly caught Sven's eye, and I think he'd had a few drinks, and when they had to fly back to Bangkok after the show, these models, but Sven went chasing after one of them. I don't think he wanted her to go home, so we had to drag him back a bit, and then eventually we got him upstairs to bed, and it was Eric Steele, I think. He said, "Come on, let's go and check on him." So we went back up to his room after about half an hour, knocked on his door. He just opened his room door with a bottle of champagne and a glass. "Anybody for champagne?" And we flew back a couple of nights after, and he was in first class and we were in economy and stuff, and we took after about 10 minutes of takeoff, he came back from first class in his pyjamas with champagne and glasses again. Anybody want a drink and stuff? Wow. Not that he wasn't don't get me wrong, he wasn't a heavy booze or anything, but he did like a good time. He
liked to enjoy it, and everyone else.
He liked to go out for a meal and stuff, and Hans Back used to tell me, his assistant, they could go in a restaurant in Manchester, it'd be empty, and in 10 minutes it'd be packed.
Yeah.
And like models and other people coming up to Sven, giving them the business cards, "Ring me when you're in London," or it was just incredible reputation.
The type of football he had us playing was exciting as well, really, because in the build-up we had managers like Stuart Pearce, and we did struggle with that kind of defensive mentality and sideways and backwards passes and not scoring that many goals. And then I think when you get someone like Sven and the players he brought in, because he brought in the likes of Ilano and quite a few of the Brazilians and stuff, and suddenly the product that we were playing on the pitch, we was like, "Oh my God, this is..."
Those were players that he liked. I mean, there was quite a bit of money made available to him, so he got this big agent involved, and I think in about 3 or 4 weeks we signed 6 or 7 players in that pre-season, and the first game was at West Ham.
I remember this one,
and none of the staff knew what it was going to be like, because we'd seen them all in training, but we'd never actually seen them play together in a competitive match. So there was a bit of apprehension when we went to West Ham, but we were like Real Madrid on the day. We were awesome.
It was stunning.
We battered them. I think we were top at Christmas or something.
We were showing signs, weren't they, that we were now stepping up into the big leagues. We were still a long way away, but it was great. Like people like Giovanni, just stepping in and like scoring in the derby and stuff like that. It was amazing to see. Wasn't it?
There was a lot of players with a lot of ability there at that time, and a lot of flair. Like Irelano was a fantastic player, very underrated, I thought. And
I think so. The players in the past like that, who were the star players. It's always. I remember saying to Jeff when he was on, what players you've played with could you see in this current squad? Because this current squad is phenomenal.
It is
absolutely phenomenal, and obviously people like Kinkladze. And Jeff was the person he put forward that would get in this team, but I'd definitely see the likes of Ilano in this squad. He would thrive. He had that other dimension. He was the kind of the attacking midfield force that you needed.
Great ability. Yeah,
he could find a pass anywhere, and I'm not sure if there was one game, I don't know if it was Newcastle or somewhere, where I'm pretty sure Alano played like right back. It might have been a different team.
Yeah.
And at the time we were at the ground going, what's going on? This is crazy. But it was a genius move, because suddenly you had this guy who could ping a pass anywhere on the pitch, and he was right back, so he was pinging the balls right up front. And it was perfect.
Fullbacks now, it's not just the defensive qualities. They've got to be great on the ball. Yeah. It helps if they've got pace. Yeah. You've got to be willing to get forward, join in, help the attack, help the midfield, forward players. It's a different role these days. Yeah. I remember a particular goal. Robinho scored it actually at Everton. Ilano, I think it was on the volley, hit a ball about 60 yards from inside his own half, diagonal ball, right over the Everton defence, and Robinho brought it down and slipped it in. But it was just phenomenal skill.
Yeah, he's absolutely
still playing. He's in India.
Ilano is.
He's playing in India.
I think I read something.
And I think Robinho's playing in China.
Yeah, he's still going for it. I mean, obviously,
Sven's still in China, managing a club, I think.
He's still going for it. He's had some career, though, hasn't he?
Staggering.
Look at his CV. He's gone for it, hasn't he?
And I mean, as far as like it would be difficult to pick out a particular strength on the football side that he had. I mean, he wasn't a great motivator as such, or he wasn't a great tactician, or in training sessions and coaching sessions.
I suppose that kind of tactic, though, to be the nice guy, and he's kind of, I'm picking the team, and you just don't want to let him down. It's one of them.
He knew players though, and in Todd grip, Todd knew virtually every player in the world. His knowledge on footballers throughout the world was phenomenal, and he had Sven's ear. He did advise him on a lot of things.
Yeah, that'd be good. So, just before we go to a break, we'll talk a bit more about Shinawatra. What was he like around the club itself then? So obviously he's a character when you go away, and what was he like in and around the club? How involved was he? How did people react to him being around?
Well, he was a bizarre person, really. I mean, I think he had little Buddha things buried in the training ground under the corner flags and at the stadium, I think.
Yeah.
And, we played Tottenham once, and he just walked in the dressing room before the game and just moved Sven to one side and did the team talk. You know. But I suppose everybody at the time thought, this guy's come in, he's got all the money in the world, he's going to do massive things here, so people just virtually let him get on with everything. I mean, it got to a point where I think some of his ideas and things that he wanted to do with the club were bizarre, really. So, they didn't go much further than from his head. But I think that was the start of things are starting to move at City. There's a chance of we could be consistently successful.
Yeah, the ball's definitely started rolling.
And he, of course, sold to the Arrows, which was the only good thing he did, really.
Yeah, because only City could have someone come in and buy us with no money. It was because I think as a fan, it was kind of, oh, this is amazing. This guy's bought us, and then as all the stories were coming out, you're like, what's going on here? And then eventually going, all right, he actually hasn't got any money, and then Sven was gone. So
well, he wasn't willing to put it in. I think he had funds available. I don't think he introduced much to him.
Well, I think at the back of all our minds, it was like, it's that saying on it, typical City. It's if something like this could happen to anyone, it's going to happen to us. At one point we think, well, that's it, we've got billions to spend, and then at any point he could go get arrested, sent down, and then we get punished, get relegated, and it could happen with City. But of course, you mentioned he sold us to the Arabs, and we'll discuss that after. So we'll go for a quick break now, and then we'll come back, because it's just a stunning story. So we're back in a couple of minutes. Do stay tuned to these charming fans. Welcome back to these Chapman fans. Still here in the studio is Chapman. Thanks for hanging around. Let's go straight into it now. So before the break, we talked about Shinawatra and kind of the crazy times in the build-up to what was to be one of the biggest moments in all of football, not just in City's history. He sold us to Sheikh Mansour, and that was just, it was on deadline day. It wasn't, which is again, it's just classic City that instead of having the takeover well into pre-season or before the deadline it was deadline day, and suddenly we were linked with every player in the world. And I can remember me at the time, the takeover happened and we was all watching Sky Sports. I had a gig that night. I was over at Frog and Bucket in Manchester, and when I'd left, I was on Sky Sports News. We had just bid for Berbatov at Tottenham, and even that to me was, oh wow, we mean business here.
He got hijacked though, didn't he?
He got hijacked, and that's when we were now a serious contender, because as much as we don't want to praise anyone across the road, but Alex Ferguson had this thing of he didn't travel for anyone. People came to United, whereas this is the first time ever he drove to the airport.
Probably because he knew we were after him.
Yeah, that's right. He heard the bid and he goes, wow, the City are players now. And so that spoke volumes. But I remember going on stage going, I think we might sign Berbatov here. And then to get off stage 10 minutes later, and it was like, oh, you signed Rubinho. And where did that come from? I didn't even know we were in for him. But, the rumours were we were after every man and his dog on deadline day, because suddenly we had one of the richest men in the world. So
I think before that, the marquee signing was George Samaras. I think Pierce bought him, didn't he?
Yeah.
Great lad, fabulous lad, but I mean,
Georgie Samaras.
Then we were linked when the takeover took place. We were linked to, as you said, all kinds of people, and then we knew really that the funds will be there to get these kind of players.
So if not in this window, we know going forward.
At Carrington, that like from the moment of that takeover, things started to improve structurally and the facilities improved. Every summer they built an extension on or refurbished this, built a new gym, Things started happening from the word go, but in a gradual way. But on the football side, it came pretty rapidly.
Yeah, well, some of the players that were coming in, and it was such a joy. And I say Rubinho, let's talk about Rubinho, because he was the first ever marquee signing, and it was 32 million or whatever it was. We broke a record. Now a lot of fans have their opinions on Rubinho. For me at home he was such a great talent, but in away games he went missing. And I can remember the Everton game where he came on as a sub and got subbed off because he just wasn't at the races. And so what was it like? What was Rubinho like as a personality at the club? And then what were your guys' thoughts on him?
Rubinho's like a bubbly kind of lad. A lot of the Brazilians are party animals, like that kind of samba men that they dance in the dressing room and do tricks in the dressing room, skills and stuff. He was phenomenally skillful, but very lightweight. So I suppose in some games, especially away from home, where it got a bit
physical,
more physical than normal, then he wouldn't probably have the best game in the world. But and then again, I suppose every player has got a different personality and a different character, and as a manager, it's finding the key to each player, just as an individual, but collectively as a team, it's finding that key that's going to make them all work, make them all tick. I suppose with Rubinho, apart from the physical side, for me, it was brilliant. I mean,
it was a joy to watch, wasn't he? Especially at home. One of the memories that stick in my head all the way on was against Arsenal. Just the composure he showed, and I think when he lobbed Almunia, it was like, we haven't had a play like that to be that composed in a while. And again, I think
a lot of players when they come to the Premier League, and Rubinho being one, it's the actual pace and the physical side of the game is different from a lot of stuff they've been used to. Probably have more time on the ball in different European countries and South America, and probably had more time and space to show tricks and skills and things, whereas the Premier League, it's pretty hectic, and those opportunities might not have come up as much as they had done before. So that's a difficult type of thing to adjust to. And
I think what's nice about Rubinho, even after he left, he's always said nice things about us and the fans, and because I think that as far as City fans go, I'm sure everyone watching will agree. Kind of when a player leaves, obviously everyone wishes him well, and if he says nice things, it's nice. But I don't get the players who go and are suddenly negative and they start slagging us up in the press. It's, so again, Robinho just seems like a really nice, like a gentleman, and he went.
Well, he was a massive financial signing, and I think at that time Manchester City became more of a global. Everybody started to pick up and hear about Manchester City. I mean, probably Sheikh Mansour and the family over there were unheard of to the majority of the world, although they probably owned vast business complexes and hotels and different properties in countries all over the world, capital New York, Paris, or everywhere. But until they bought Manchester City, they weren't known globally. As soon as they bought Manchester City, they put themselves on the map and Manchester City. And of course, they've introduced all the finances to the club and enabled us to have success and hopefully continue to get it.
Yeah, just one quick deal I don't know how much you know about this one. It was the Kaka deal. That never happened in the end, but I remember there's a lot of stories going around about how close we were to signing Kaka, and it was Cook at the time was handling
Cook.
And apparently he was at a supporters group once, and he said it was Milan who backed out of it at the last minute. There's a lot of reports saying that Kaka kind of pulled out, but what I've heard was the deal was pretty much done. It was going to be the biggest deal in football history, and AC Milan kind of bottled it at the last minute and pulled out. I don't know how true that is. I don't know what you know about that. Well, I mean, that could
be 100% spot on. I don't know anything that happened in the background, but we were linked with so many players, so many massive players at that time. Because we hadn't up to that point got any really massive foreign players in, so once one started to come, and the scouting network was like widespread over the whole continents, so all the top players on the radar, they were being investigated and watched, and obviously the speculation starts about all those. We must have been in one transfer window linked with I think someone counted maybe 60 players. Yeah. Which is, I'm sure they probably spoke to their agents or the clubs of a majority of those players with the intention of bringing them to City, but obviously can only get so many. But it's been an absolute fairy tale. But you just look at the players we've got now. To sign the likes of Sergio Aguero, and you got players like Zabaleta and your companies. They came in for the least amount of money as well. I think company was 6 million. And have proved. I mean, they've obviously improved as players as well. And if you put value on these players now, I mean, company for me is one of the best centre backs in world football. Absolutely. And what did we pay? 7 million for him? That's 6-7 million. And at the time, he was still. Is he a midfielder? Is he a defender? And City kind of just went no. He preferred midfield, but he was always going to be a centre back. And it's a great move, really. It's proper fairy tale, and that's what I say before about typical City. It's just beautiful the way we do everything. From a crazy eccentric Thai businessman with no money to the richest Arab family in the world to deadline day stuff. It's just you definitely can't write it. So that's why it made more sense when we won the league for the first time. How we did that was it just kind of fit with the story, didn't it? It was always going to happen, wasn't it? I mean, once that kind of financial backing comes into a club, eventually there's going to be some kind of success, sooner rather than later, and then you just saw all those kind of players coming into the club, and everybody knew it was going to happen sooner rather than later. Of course it was, and I think what's interesting earlier on, what's funny is all the fans, especially United fans, who they've struggled so hard because we had a takeover, and it was flash in the pan. It's not gonna last. And then United started decreasing. They are terrible now. And we have overtaken them. It's not just a little thing now. We're up here, and I still don't. They don't say it as much now, but I don't know if you ever hear it from the United fans of what you're going to do when the Arabs get bored and leave. It's not going to happen, is it? Of course, it's not. And I mean, even if it did, it would be another great story. It'd be a negative story, but it won't happen. They've built such an infrastructure throughout, not just at the club, but throughout the city. Well, you look around, around the stadium alone, and the plans. When you hear they're going to invest in more in house, I'm sure. I heard that Sheikh Mansour's made an agreement with the council to build houses
So not only has he built, gyms and swimming pools and built a school and created jobs,
hotels. They've got a great relationship with the city council. So
because they renegotiated the lease, didn't they? And so I know the option was to buy it out, but I think and they said, well, we'll just pay you more money to keep it in the council. There's still more money going around. And
what, the stadium? You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
well, they've plans to extend and all sorts.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, because that's why I think it's fun. I like football banner as much as the next person, but people who think that we haven't got the best people not even in football, but in the business world. If you don't think we've got the right people and the best solicitors and stuff, like the financial fair play, we got slapped for it, but instantly now look at us, we've turned a profit. We're never going to get hit by that again because.
And the very fact they built that training complex, it's not like somebody who's going to pull out at any time, isn't it? It's a huge concern.
But that, just touching upon the complex as well. This is again the kind of the media bias against City, and we've touched on it. I know it sounds ridiculous sometimes that a media can be biased against a club, but we've literally just built that academy. We spent so much money, and instantly it was, this big expensive academy. No one's breaking through. And so I don't know how quick the media want this to happen.
Yeah.
Like, the next year we're supposed to bring in the whole elite development squad into the first team. I think it's just.
Yeah, these academies, I suppose, like places like Barcelona, Real Madrid, City, and it is difficult for kids to break through into the first team when you look at the standard of the players in the first team squad. But Kelechi's broke in, and one or two others, and over the years there will be the odd 1, 2, 3 who actually break in and probably long term at the club, which will be phenomenal, save the money, and it'll prove why we've got an academy. But there'll be a lot of players who come through that academy who will have great careers. Possibly not at City, but they will have great careers at different clubs all over the world. So
and that's the you just look at the players who have left us recently, who have gone on to do great things. Like Guidetti's having a great time over in Spain now, and I think what's great as well is not just the first team. Like the kids are doing really well. Obviously Vieira's left now, where he had a great hand in that, didn't he? And while we're here about Patrick Vieira, there's a lot of theories going around that it's his 3-year contract over at New York. There's a few people who think he's going to have his time and learn his trade at that level in New York, and then come back and manage City one day.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I would love that idea. I think
firmly believe from the first day he walked in at Carrington that he would be a
future City.
He would be a top manager at whatever club.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a certain aura about him. He was greatly respected by every person at the training ground and at the football club itself. He's got a great reputation in the game. He knows the game inside out. He's confident. He's polite. He's intelligent. He's bright. All the ingredients for success, really.
Yeah, he's another one who seems like he's a proper gentleman as well to have around and stuff. And also the women's team have come on leaps and bounds as well, haven't they? The women's team are big contenders. So I think the takeover has been beneficial for everyone involved at the club.
Yeah, have you been to the new training complex?
I've not been yet, actually. No.
It's just everything's state of the art. I mean, as a kid coming in, whatever age, you can't fail to be impressed by it all, and it's a great incentive for them to do well at that place and progress, and eventually every kid comes in wanting to play for the City first team.
Yeah.
Whether that happens or not is doubted. Well,
but just to get to
they won't, but they'll hopefully go on to have great careers.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Just to get to that point of being in that to a certain age.
It's a great start
academy.
for them.
Yeah,
great opportunity.
Cool. Well, I think that's it. The time's run out already. It's just absolutely it's stunning. Oh, thanks for joining us once again. Do watch all our shows. Follow us, like us. You've been watching These Charming Fans. Good night.